Hi. Hi. Welcome to New Year's Eve. And I'm headed off to work. It's going to be a short day. There's a porta-potty next to the house that smells like pee. That's weird. So, welcome. Sorry for that little stray side note. Just a weird combo because I was walking by that house on one of my little loops thinking this house always smells like pee, and now there's a porta potty outside. Go figure. So I was thinking 2025, we are 25 years into this new century, into this new millennium, and one of the things I was thinking about was where I was for millennium. When I was growing up, my mom, it's like, it's 1980. In 20 years, it'll be a new millennium. She was very into rounding off these numbers and setting up this, where are you going to be to ring in the millennium? And then, here comes the millennium. And I thought about it, and my parents had said they would give me a gift for graduation, but I never really clarified what I wanted. So it was 2 years later, 3 years later, I said I'd like to go to Paris for millennium. I have a friend who is French. She was living in Paris. I would like to go there. And so, yes, they gave me the money to go to Paris. And I had decided that if I'm going to go all the way to Paris, I may as well first stop in London. So I was going to go to London and then, spend a day there and then hop over to Paris, spend the week there, hop back to London, hop back to home. And I don't know why I decided to do this, but I knew that I wanted to go to Paris. I've always wanted to go to France. I've always loved French things. When I was 12, I did a report on the French Revolution, and honest to God, I don't know why France had a revolution. I mean, at that age, I didn't have a lot of world history under my belt, and it's not like the American education system says we're in 6th grade now. Let's look at other revolutions, because the American education system is so chauvinistic, French word, that it only focuses on Yankee Doodle Dandy shit, So, I clearly had a very deep fascination with France. And so here I was, looking at ringing in the year 2000 and making this decision. And it was one of the best things I ever did in my life. It was not an easy trip, but I had the best time. So it was Christmas. No, it was New Year's Eve. No, Christmas. New Year's Eve. When did it? Oh, okay, this is when I flew out. Sorry. I flew to London on Christmas. So Christmas Eve, I spent the night making peanut butter cookies and chocolate chip cookies with walnuts, because these were my friend's favorite things that she discovered in America. She'd be in class and all of a sudden she'd see a cookie sneak out of it. I mean, we're grown women in university classes and she's sneaking cookies. It was, she really loved. And she called peanut butter cookies were peanut cookies, and chocolate chip walnut cookies were, I just headed to Sacramento by accident. Oh no, not by accident. Whew. I did want to be on the, see, this is what happens when you're on autopilot. So she called chocolate chip cookies with walnuts walnut cookies. So it was Christmas Eve. It's the middle of the night. I'm baking cookies and wrapping them in wax paper and putting them in Tupperware and putting it in my luggage. I wanted them to be as fresh as they could be. And my neighbor's boyfriend was at her house. I think she was probably back home visiting her parents, but her boyfriend was at her house. So we hung out drinking tequila all night. This is how the trip starts out. Starts out perfect. Starts out perfect with cookies and tequila. And I get to the airport at 7 in the morning on Christmas and, you know, start all the legs of travel. So you fly from LA to somewhere in the Midwest. I want to say Minneapolis or someplace like this. And I had to change planes, and the gate I was coming in on was the farthest point in the world from the gate that I had to depart from. Maybe it was Detroit. I know it was in the Midwest. And the gap between planes was so brief that I was running at full speed, and they have those moving sidewalks, and I was on the moving sidewalk running because I figured that would help me get there faster. Made it to my airplane. Some girl decided that I should swap seats so that she and her friend could sit by, like, rows. She wanted to move rows back. I don't think I complied, which was, you know, one of the first times that I ever said, I don't think so. No, thank you. There were like 5 seats in the middle. I was on one end, and there was a dude at the other end, some older guy, and nobody was in the middle seats. And I thought, oh, okay, I'll be able to put the arms up and lay down and get some sleep. Until I realized how weird the guy was, and I thought, I don't want any part of my body closer to him. I'm going to be here. And it was a flight that had a meal, and because it was going to Europe, the meal had wine, little bottles of wine. And I just remember somehow he kept showing, he'd like go to the bathroom or something, he kept showing up, there were this clutter of little wine bottles, and he just drank and drank and drank until he passed out, and he smelled like a wino. He smelled like hot wine. He was just sweating it out of his body. He had had so much to drink. I mean, the holidays are tough for all of us, right? Wow. so I get to London. I mean, all of it was so amazing. I get to London, the cab pulls up, I tell him where I'm going, and he says, you can walk. I've just been flying and traveling for like 18 hours. I'm not walking anywhere. So I said no, and he apparently couldn't refuse me. I don't know if they have a law about that, but he didn't refuse me. I get in the cab and I go to the thing, and it was like three pounds, and I gave him a 10-pound note, and he drove away without giving me change. Like, legitimately stole money from me. And this was my first interaction with somebody in England. I do not hold it against you, England. You know, he's just going to have to live with the karma of what he did. Creepy bastard. And one of the things that I had done, this was, I only had a few pounds. I only had like 20 pounds, 40 pounds. Because I had decided not to exchange cash at the airport. I had decided not to do traveler's checks, which I think were barely still a thing at that point. I don't know if they're still a thing now. I just remember how dumb I thought it was that you had to sign all of them first so that you could sign them again later. It's like, yes, let's put an example of your handwriting so that, you know, a forger has time to mimic your handwriting. It made no sense to me. Traveler's checks. So everyone was in a dither about Y2K, and you know, nothing was going to work, and you were going to wind up someplace, and you were going to be trapped because all the computers were dead, because they were only built to last till 1999, and you know, the hysteria around all of it was just beyond. And I had decided not to worry about it. I was just going to take my little ATM card and muddle through. My thinking being, the safest thing to have is your credit card or your ATM card, because that's tied to your money. And even though you might only have a small amount of money, there are a lot of people out there who have a lot of money. And one thing that they're not going to tolerate is a computer wiping out their money. I figured if anything was going to be okay, it was going to be the ATMs. It turned out I was right. And because I used the ATM to get money wherever I was, I got the exchange rate live, like whatever it was that day, and I didn't pay a lot of airport bullshit fees. And I wasn't trooping around with cash that could get I'm sorry, I had my vitamin C drink, and it's I'm giving a little my friend calls it a report from the interior. I'm having a report from the interior. I apologize. So back to the thing. So I had made my plan. I was going to stay in different neighborhoods. So on the way into London, I wanted to stay in one neighborhood. On my way back home, I was going to stay in another one. So on the way there, I stayed in Regent's Park, which sounded nice. And it was a nice hotel and everything, but it was pretty far away from everything else. It was too hoity-and-toity, really. The neighborhood was too hoity-and-toity. You had to walk like 1,000,000 miles to find anything. Meanwhile, a huge was swooping in over France, and they were experiencing gale force winds that shut down the airports. And I didn't know if I was going to be able to even get to France. I might be stuck in London. So for a couple of days till the storm blew over. It was a very fly by the seat of your pants situation. I had to be willing to improvise. And I, went to bed. My mother's advice was, doesn't matter what time you get home, go to the room, close the curtains, sleep until you're done sleeping, and then get up and face the day. So now it's Boxing Day, and I need to concentrate. So Boxing Day, and I thought, oh, how fun, I'm going to see everything. Well, Boxing Day is a bank holiday. Everything is closed on Boxing Day. Boxing Day is not a day to go out. Boxing Day is a day to stay in. Now, what the hell Boxing Day is, I have no idea. I've never gotten a straight answer, ever. And, okay, there's a lot of theories. Okay. If the English don't know, why should we know? They just call it Boxing Day. There was also an outbreak of mad cow disease. This was a new panic at the moment. So I had resolved just to eat fish. Somebody had advised that I should try Indian food while I was in England, if I could get it, because there's so much Indian food and it's so good. Okay. So I ordered room service and I got fish and chips, like you do, and it came with a big pile of peas on the plate, which, this began my understanding that the English are a little obsessed with peas. They like it in all sorts of conditions. You will hear deliberate pursuit of mushy peas. Mushy peas. Ugh. Anyway, I gird my loins, I put on my jacket, I've got my boots on, I'm gonna see England, and I get a tourist pass, which is you get this double-decker bus hop on, hop off situation, but it also came with tickets to see the Crown Jewels, to see the Tower of London. There was a boat ride on the Thames, which was closed because of the gale force winds. So no, I didn't get to ride on that. It was all of it was astonishing, and seeing the ravens in the yard and hearing the lore about there's always ravens. It's a lot to experience. But at one point, they have these giant cobblestones that make up the road, and allegedly, and I twisted my ankle and fell. And two men ran over to help me to my feet. One of them was a very posh-looking gentleman in his raincoat, and the other one had the little hat, looked like, one of the henchmen from 1001 Dalmatians. Oh, that's not that many Dalmatians. 101 Dalmatians. Oh, no. 1,000 just seems like too many. Anyway, I had the little hat, the little turtleneck, and they helped me. They scraped me up off the floor, they offered to take me to the hospital. And being American, I was like, I don't have the money for that in my head. I was like, no, I'm okay. And I limped off, and I could barely walk. I probably shouldn't have been walking at all. So I spent the rest of the day hopping on and hopping off the double-decker bus, and I just watched London from the top of a double-decker bus. You know, I'll take the yellow line, now I'll take the purple line, then I'll take the green line. And somehow I got my broken ass back to the hotel, and somehow the gale force winds subsided, and I got to the airport and got to France and stormed around France for 5 days with my friend and had the best time. I do plan to write about it. I got to stop with the plan and just get to write. You know, it was only 5 days, and it felt like a lifetime in the best way. It was the most enriching, beautiful, exciting thing, you know. And I had my sprained ankle, which when we finally looked at it the next day, me and my friend, I was bruised. I didn't get the blood blisters till after we marched around France. But it was, my feet were destroyed. Yeah. And I think about it now, and it was so fun, and I had so much endurance and excitement, and yeah, I do want to go back. I loved it. I felt so at home there, and it was, you know, your whole life you dream about someplace and you go there, and I'm on the airplane, I'm thinking, what if it doesn't live up to my imagination? And it absolutely surpassed what I had hoped for. And I look forward to when I can go again. I didn't realize I was going to yammer on so much about this trip. So here it is, you know, that was 25 years ago I did that. What am I going to do tonight? I'm going to go home. I'm going to go to bed early because fireworks are going to blow off at midnight, and I need to get my sleep. So I'm going to have disrupted sleep tonight. It's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. I'm wishing all of you a Happy New Year. I hope you get to do something fun and exciting to mark a quarter century, to mark another year completed, to celebrate a new year coming. I hope we all just knock it out of the park this year, and that life is full of love and joy and happiness. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Did he bring a different car today? Is this right? Okay.